Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq-100 index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed on the Nasdaq stock market. The Nasdaq-100 has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. Joining me today, we have Ryan McCormack. He is the QQQ equity ETF strategist to give an update on today's performance. And Ryan, while the Nasdaq-100 is taking a breather relative to the other major averages, we can see in year-to-date performance on our first chart here that it does continue to outperform.
Hey, Jill, great to be here as always. And yet, you're absolutely right. I think as you look at today, as about, call it a half hour ago, we were about 80 bips relative underperformance relative to the S&P 500. That being said, when you look to the year-to-date picture, not much has really changed. QQQ through yesterday up 7.93% on the year versus the S&P 500, which is down 6.64%. So you're looking at roughly 14.6% outperformance on the year, which has been the story over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's not surprising to see sector rotation here because the Nasdaq-100 really was the leader off of the COVID-19 lows. So let's take a look at our next chart here and we can review performance by the GIC sectors.
Yeah, and this is looking at performance over the past week through yesterday, and it's a little bit of a different conversation than you and I are used to having. We're generally talking about QQQ outperformance, particularly, kind of the post-COVID lows, and even leading up to those lows. But as you're looking now, we actually saw the S&P 500 outperform QQQ, S&P 500 up about 2.4% over the past week, QQQ around 1% of performance over the past week. And you look, it's a lot of those sectors that had previously been beaten down, right? They were under a lot of pressure for the year and leading up into that sort of COVID bottom that you had referenced. Financials, real estate, energy, materials, all up over 3% over the past week. And you look at those sectors, those are the ones that QQQ has virtually no exposure to. Actually, no exposure whatsoever other than industrials, which is a significant underweight as you're looking at it against the S&P 500. So, in the short term, yes, those are the ones that are driving performance because I think investors are sort of looking for sectors and names that are on sale as we see renewed optimism about the opening up of economy and businesses. But that being said, those sectors are still all down over 10% on the year. So, kind of a tale of the short-term performance, yet you sort of see this sector rotation on the back of optimism, looking for things that were on sale. But, over the course of the year, those sectors are still among the largest underperformers.
All right, Ryan, and let's drill down on the final two charts here. We can review the individual SPY and QQQ performer constituents. We'll start with the SPY.
Yeah, and you look at SPY, you see some very large numbers for 1 week performance. Again, these are names that were particularly hard hit by Corona, right? We're looking at the airlines, Delta, Southwest, Alaska, United Airlines, other travel names, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Caribbean Cruise Lines. Some of the retail sector, which is in focus, as you see a lot of the kind of push to reopen retail with L Brands, Gap, Ralph Lauren. Again, all of these names up over 15%. But as you're looking, investors are trying to find things that are on sale on the back of this optimism. So you look at some of the names in QQQ, they've held up really, really well. And in some cases, better than held up, right? You're seeing significant positive performance on the year. But kind of on this sort of shift of reopening of the economy, I think, again, you're watching investors look for names that are on sale and kind of moving money that way.
Yeah, and if we take a look at the next chart, if we take a look at the next chart where we can see the QQQ performers, what can you discern from there?
Exactly. So, with QQQ, of those kind of aforementioned names, QQQ only holds United Airlines, right? So you're looking at pretty decent performance there. But beyond that, performance is much more muted relative to the S&P 500. You're not seeing these big 15, 20% moves that you're seeing in SPY. Now, some of the names in there, right, they kind of fit the same bill, whether it be Booking Holdings, right, kind of on the travel side. Obviously, we mentioned United Airlines. You have Ulta Beauty on the retail side, Lululemon on the retail side. So the trends are still there. It's just when you're looking at the names, I don't think a lot of them are as beaten up or as many to choose from as you're looking within the S&P 500 index. So, similar trends, and with that, we've seen that S&P 500 outperformance as we've seen investors move to these names.
All right, Ryan, great to have you with us as always. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks very much, Jill.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.